In just 3 minutes, President Donald Trump's famous confidence, swagger, and triumphant grin completely vanished. The moment Jimmy calmly dropped one explosive, long-buried phrase about Ivanka, his own daughter, the entire studio was plunged into stunned silence before a storm of gasps, shouts, and uncontrollable fury tore through the room like a tornado. The studio lights were already blazing hot, buzzing overhead like they knew something massive was about to go down. The band kicked in, that familiar upbeat theme that usually had people clapping along without a second thought. Tonight the claps came fast, but they carried a sharp edge. Half cheer, half wait and see. Jimmy stepped through the curtain into the spotlight, easy smile locked in place as always. "Good evening, everybody," he called out, waving to the crowd. The audience roared back. He paced the front of the stage for a moment, letting the noise wash over him. "Wow, big night tonight. We've got, well, you know who we've got. A few laughs, a couple of boos mixed in." Jimmy grinned wider. "Settle down. He's the President of the United States, after all. Let's give him a warm welcome." More applause rang out, louder now, but still divided. Nobody was neutral tonight. Then the announcer's voice boomed across the room. "Please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump." The room exploded. Half the crowd shot to their feet, cheering like it was a full-blown campaign rally. The other half clapped politely, some just staring, arms crossed tight. Trump strode out from the wings like he owned the place, shoulders back, chin up, with that big trademark grin flashing under the blazing lights. He waved huge, pointing at people in the front rows like he personally recognized every single one of them. Classic Trump entrance, and he soaked up every single second of it. Jimmy stepped forward to meet him. They shook hands, firm, no nonsense, holding it just a beat longer than normal. Neither man blinked. Trump's grip was strong, almost testing. Jimmy matched it, smile never slipping. They broke apart. Trump gave one last wave to the crowd, and both men sat down. The band wrapped up. The lights tightened on the two chairs. For one split second, everything looked completely normal. Two guys, a desk between them, an audience ready to laugh or boo. But the air already felt thick. Everyone could sense it. This was not going to be one of those easy softball interviews. Well, this was going to be a fight, and it was about to start. Jimmy leaned back slightly, still smiling. "Mr. President, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on." Trump nodded, grinning wide. "Great to be here, Jimmy." Tremendous crowd, by the way, really tremendous. A few cheers erupted from the Trump fans. Jimmy chuckled. "Yeah, they showed up tonight. So let's jump right in, shall we?" He paused just long enough for the room to quiet down, then leaned forward just a touch, keeping his voice easy. "So, Mr. President, how's the White House treating you these days?" "Busy schedule, I bet." Trump settled back, crossing his legs, that same big grin still plastered on his face. "Busy, Jimmy. It's nonstop. Tremendous energy. The best people, the best deals. We're making America greater every single day." A chunk of the crowd cheered immediately, loud, proud claps from the red hat section. Jimmy nodded like he was genuinely taking it all in, then added lightly, "Sounds exhausting. You ever get a night off to just watch TV or something?" Trump chuckled. "I don't need nights off. I'm always winning. You should try it sometime." And that was the opening Trump was looking for. His grin sharpened. He leaned in closer, elbows on his knees, eyes locked on Jimmy like he was about to close the biggest deal of his life. "You know, Jimmy, I watch your show sometimes when I can stomach it." A few nervous laughs scattered through the room. Jimmy raised an eyebrow, still smiling. Appreciate the viewership. Trump didn't miss a beat. But let me tell you something. You call yourself a host. You're more like a lonely guy begging for laughs because nobody laughs at home anymore. The words hit like a slap across the face. The studio went dead quiet for a full, agonizing second. Real silence, the kind that makes your ears ring. Then a wave of uneasy chuckles rolled through, half forced, half shocked. Some people covered their mouths. Others just stared wide-eyed. Trump sat back, satisfied, arms spread wide like he'd just scored the winning point. Jimmy didn't flinch, didn't snap back. He just let the insult hang there, let the entire room feel the full weight of it. His face stayed calm, almost thoughtful, like he was processing a bad joke rather than a deeply personal shot. The silence stretched another beat. The crowd shifted in their seats, waiting for the quick comeback they fully expected. But Jimmy didn't give it to them. Instead, he took a slow breath, looked straight at Trump and said quietly, "Okay, let's talk about real life for a second." The shift was instant and absolutely electric. The playful vibe evaporated completely. Outside this building, people are struggling. Gas is up. Groceries cost a fortune. Rents are crushing families. Jobs feel shaky for millions of people. What's your plan to actually make them feel like things are getting better? Trump's smirk faded. He straightened up, voice turning firmer, more official. "Jimmy, there are no problems in this country. None. Everything's perfect. We've done an incredible job. Best economy in history, strongest military, borders finally secure, tremendous success." He paused. Yao then pointed straight at Jimmy. "The only mess left is you stirring up trouble for ratings, fake news, fake problems. People see right through it." That line split the room right down the middle. The Trump supporters erupted. Big cheers, fist pumping, a couple of USA chants starting up. But the rest of the audience, murmurs, head shakes, a few loud boos mixing in. Jimmy nodded slowly, taking it all in without interrupting. He didn't argue numbers or throw statistics back. He just repeated softly. "Families feel the pressure, though. They tell me that every single day, emails, people on the street, they want reassurance that things are actually heading in the right direction." Trump jumped right back in, louder now. "They have reassurance. The country is strong, stronger than ever before. Jobs are coming back, wages are up, everybody's winning. Believe me." His voice carried that same unshakable certainty he always projected, like doubt wasn't even a concept he entertained. But the room didn't feel convinced. The cheers from one side clashed hard against the uneasy quiet from the other. Jimmy kept his voice steady, like he was just having a normal conversation with a neighbor. "Mr. President, I hear from people every single day. Families are telling me they're cutting back on groceries, skipping doctor visits because the bills are simply too high. Parents are working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Let me show you something real quick." He nodded toward the big screen behind them. It lit up with a simple graphic. Results from a poll the show had run online that very afternoon. We asked 10,000 viewers in the last hour. Are you feeling more financial stress this year than last? 72% said, yes. That's not fake news. That's people hitting submit on their phones right now. The crowd reacted immediately. A low murmur spread through the seats, heads nodding. Some people looked straight at Trump, waiting. Trump's face tightened just a fraction. He leaned forward, pointing at the screen like it had personally offended him. Polls. Come on, Jimmy. You can make any poll say anything. I've seen your polls, always rigged against me. The real numbers show unemployment is the lowest it's been in decades. Wages are up. People are working. They're thriving. This country is booming, booming like never before. His voice rose on that last line, turning it into a full-on rally chant. The red hat section exploded. Cheers, whistles, a few standing ovations. But the rest of the room stayed quieter, arms crossed, eyes exchanging loaded looks. Jimmy didn't raise his voice to match. He simply tilted his head. I understand the big numbers look good on paper, but when a mom in Ohio emails me saying she's choosing between paying rent and buying her kids asthma medicine, that feels pretty real to her. What do you say to someone like that? Trump didn't hesitate for even a second. I say, look at the jobs we brought back. Manufacturing is roaring. Energy independence. We cut taxes. Biggest cuts ever. People have more money in their pockets. If they're struggling, maybe they should stop listening to complainers like you. That got a wild, messy reaction. More cheers from one side, louder boos from the other. The divide was getting sharper, the air thicker by the second. Then Jimmy reached under the desk and pulled out a single sheet of paper, holding it up clearly for the cameras to catch every detail. Speaking of real, we received something today that might interest you very much. An internal White House memo dated 3 months ago from your own economic team. It's marked confidential, but a whistleblower sent it over this morning. He paused, letting every word land. It says, and I'm quoting here, persistent inflation pressures and supply chain disruptions continue to impact middle-class households disproportionately. Recommend additional messaging to counter public perception of economic hardship. He paused. Let the words fully sink in. Yet the screen behind them flipped to show the memo itself, redacted just enough to protect the source, but with the key lines crystal clear for every camera in the room. The studio went absolutely electric. Gasps, sharp whispers, phones flying up to record. Trump's eyes locked onto the screen, his face turning red. Fast! He shot up halfway out of his chair. That's fake. Total forgery. You made that up. Classic Jimmy Kimmel, always with the tricks. Nobody from my team wrote that garbage. It's a lie. He jabbed a finger straight at Jimmy. You're desperate. Ratings must be tanking if you're pulling stunts like this. The Trump fans roared in support. Fake, fake, fake. But the other half of the crowd was buzzing louder now, some clapping, others shouting, show the whole thing. Jimmy stayed seated, calm as ever. It's on White House letterhead, Mr. President. Signatures from people still working in your administration. We verified the formatting, the dates, the email chains. If it's fake, your team can come on tomorrow and prove it. I'd love to have them. Trump sat back down hard, shaking his head. You're twisting everything. The economy is fantastic. Record stock market, record jobs, record everything. People are happy, very happy. This memo was probably planted by leakers who hate winning. He forced a laugh, but it came out tight and brittle. Jimmy didn't let it drop. Let's talk records then. You say record jobs, great. But wages, adjusted for inflation, are flat or down for a lot of workers. You cut taxes mostly for corporations and top earners. Middle-class families got a little, but then prices shot up and ate it right back. That's exactly what the memo is saying, right? Public perception of hardship isn't just perception, it's reality for millions of people. Trump cut in fast. Wrong. Inflation is coming down. We tamed it. Biden left us a disaster. We fixed it. Tremendous job. But his voice had a sharp edge now, defensive. The boasts were coming faster, louder, like he was trying to drown out every question with pure volume. The audience murmurs grew, restless, unsettled. One side kept cheering every time Trump said tremendous. but the other side was leaning in, listening hard. Jimmy let a short beat pass after the last back and forth. Then he took a slow sip from his water bottle, set it down, and completely shifted his tone. Smooth as silk. You know what, mister? A president? We've been talking a lot about numbers and policies. Let's switch gears for a second. He smiled, easy, warm, and completely genuine looking. Speaking of family, how's Ivanka doing these days? She's been in the spotlight a lot, running projects, being a mom. How's she holding up with everything? Trump's shoulders visibly dropped. The defensive edge melted off his face almost instantly. He leaned back, crossed one leg over the other, and that proud dad look took completely over. The real one, not the rally version. Ivanka, she's fantastic, Jimmy. Absolutely fantastic. Smart as a whip. Smarter than most people in Washington, believe me. She's strong, she's beautiful, she's doing incredible work helping businesses, helping women, raising 3 beautiful kids. I'm very proud of her. Very proud. His voice actually softened on that last part, warm in a way the crowd hadn't heard from him all night. A few awes floated up from the audience. Even the people who'd been booing earlier softened just a touch. Phones lowered. The tension that had been strangling the room just eased. She's got that combination, brains and heart, not easy to find, and she handles the pressure so well. The media comes after her hard sometimes, but she never complains. Tough like her old man. Trump chuckled, glancing at the crowd for agreement. A wave of genuine applause rolled through, real this time, not split. Some Trump supporters clapped harder, thrilled to see the human side. Others who weren't fans still smiled a little. It was hard not to when a man talked about his daughter like that. For the first time all night, and the room felt like it could actually breathe. But inside, Jimmy's mind was racing. He kept his face relaxed, nodding along, but flashes of old clips were playing in his head. Grainy radio audio, TV appearances, offhand comments that had been floating around for years. He'd watched them again that very afternoon, timed them, made sure the edits were clean. He knew exactly where this was headed, but he didn't rush. He let Trump bask in the warmth just a little longer. Then, casually, almost like an afterthought, Jimmy leaned in. That's great to hear. Family is everything, right? I've got one more question about family, something a little deeper. You mind if I go there? He said it softly. No edge, just curious. Trump waved a hand, still smiling wide, completely at ease. Go ahead, Jimmy. I'd ask anything. I've got nothing to hide. Family's my favorite topic. He settled back even further, arms open, like he'd just been handed the easiest question of the night. The crowd picked up on it, too. People shifted in their seats, settling in. A few even laughed lightly, thinking maybe the rough patch was finally over. The Red Hat fans looked smug, like their guy had turned the whole thing around. Even the skeptics relaxed a little, arms uncrossing. The room was calm now, almost soft. People smiling, a few chuckling at the dad stories. Jimmy let that warmth settle for one more second. Then he leaned forward, just a hair, voice dropping low and even. Your daughter, Ivanka, he said slowly, making sure every single word landed perfectly clear. Ah, piece of ass. The studio froze like someone had hit pause on the entire building. No gasps yet, just dead silence. The kind of silence that physically sucks the air right out of your lungs. Faces went completely blank, mouths hanging open halfway. A couple of phones actually slipped from people's hands. Trump's proud grin vanished in half a heartbeat. His eyes widened, then narrowed fast. The crowd needed a full 2 seconds just to process what they'd just heard. Then it hit. Like a freight train, a wave of shocked gasps rolled through the seats. Some people covered their mouths. Others whispered, "What?" loud enough for the microphones to catch. A nervous laugh or two popped up and died instantly. The red hat section looked completely stunned, like they couldn't decide whether to cheer or start screaming. Trump shot to his feet so fast his chair scraped back against the floor with a sound that cracked through the whole studio. His face flushed deep red, neck veins popping. "What did you just say?" he barked, voice cracking with fury. He pointed straight at Jimmy, finger visibly shaking. "How dare you talk about my daughter like that? You don't say that. You don't ever cross that line." He took a step forward, chest heaving. "That's disgusting. You're disgusting. You think that's funny? You think you can just throw that out there?" The words poured out fast and burning hot. Some in the crowd clapped, sharp, supportive claps from the loyalists, while others booed, loud and angry. The split was instant and ugly. Half the room backing Trump's outrage, the other half frozen in sheer disbelief at what Jimmy had just done. Jimmy didn't stand, didn't flinch. He stayed right in his chair, hands resting easy on the desk, looking straight at Trump. His voice came out calm, almost quiet compared to the shouting around him. "I didn't say it, Mr. President. That's what you said, on the radio, years ago. Exact words." He paused and let it hang. Trump's face twisted harder. "That's a lie. You're making that up right now. Twisted, sick." He jabbed the air again. "You don't attack someone's family. That's low. Even for you." More cheers from his side, louder now, trying to drown out the growing boos. The energy in the room was pure chaos. People yelling over each other, the band sitting absolutely silent, no music to cut through the tension. Trump paced half a step, eyes locked on Jimmy like he wanted to burn a hole straight through him. Jimmy tilted his head just a fraction. "It's not made up. And it's not just me saying it. We actually have someone who was there. The host of that radio show. He's standing by right now for a live call-in. He wants to confirm the context himself." He glanced toward the control booth, casual as ever, like he was mentioning the weather. "Should we bring him on? Get his take live?" The room sucked in another massive breath. Trump stopped, pacing cold. "What?" His voice dropped, dangerously low. "You've got a witness right now." He let out one short, bitter laugh. "This is a setup. Total ambush. You think I'm falling for this?" But his eyes flicked toward the wings, like he half expected someone to actually walk out. The crowd leaned forward as one, phones up everywhere, recording every single second. Murmurs turned to excited, frantic chatter. "Call him! Call him!" someone shouted from the back. Others yelled, "Fake!" "Right back," Trump demanded. "Prove it. Put him on. Let's see this so-called witness." His tone was all challenge, but there was a crack in it now, uncertainty creeping in like a cold draft. Jimmy didn't smile, didn't gloat. He just nodded once toward the booth. "We'll see if he's ready." The lights dimmed slightly on the audience, spotlights tightening down on the two men. The big screen behind them flickered to life, brighter than before. The White House logo faded out, replaced by a simple black background with clean white text. 1990s radio interview, unedited audio, no fancy graphics, no dramatic music, just the raw clip. And it was devastating. A scratchy, dated radio intro played for a second. Then a male host's voice came through, perfectly clear. "Ivanka's growing up fast, huh? She's turning into quite a piece of ass." Laughter from the studio audience back then, casual, like guys just being guys. Then Trump's voice, unmistakable, younger, but the exact same cadence, the exact same rhythm. Yeah, she's something. If she wasn't my daughter, maybe I'd be dating her. More chuckles on the tape, light and easy, like it was just locker room talk. The clip cut there. No edits, no slowdowns, just the words hanging in the air like smoke. The studio reacted like a punch straight to the gut. A deep collective groan rolled through the crowd, low at first, then spreading like wildfire. Some people winced, hands flying over their faces. Others shook their heads slow, disbelief written all over them. The Trump supporters looked completely stunned. Mouths open, a few muttering, "That's not," before trailing off into nothing. The rest of the audience let out sharp exhales, some boos starting low and building fast. Phones were everywhere now, recording the screen, recording Trump's face, recording the sheer madness of the moment. Trump stood frozen for a beat, staring at the screen like it might disappear if he glared hard enough. Then he exploded. That's out of context. You're completely out of context. You cherry-pick one line from 20 years ago, twisted, edited garbage. He waved his arms wide. They were joking around. Radio guys talk like that. It means nothing. His voice cracked on the last word, louder than ever before. Some cheers tried to rise from his side. Fake news. Fake. But they got drowned out fast by louder groans and boos from everywhere else. The split was gone now. The outrage was winning, and it was winning hard. Jimmy didn't interrupt. He simply waited until Trump ran out of steam for a brief second, then spoke quiet and even. That was the full clip. No cuts, and there's more. He signaled again. The screen transitioned smoothly to a TV appearance, the year stamped clearly in the corner, 2006. Trump sitting next to a teenage Ivanka on a morning show couch. Both smiling for the cameras, a host asks something light about family. Trump leans in, grins big, and says, "I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her." He laughs right after. A big, hearty, proud laugh. Ivanka smiles politely, looks down for just a second. The host laughs too, awkward, but going along. The clip ends right on Trump's face, still chuckling, still completely at ease. The horror hit harder this time. The groans turned to outright shouts. "Oh my God." Boos so loud, the microphones picked them up crystal clean. A woman in the front row shot to her feet, hands on her hips, screaming, "That's your daughter," before security gently eased her back down. People were on their feet now, not cheering, just reacting. Disgust, anger, and confusion all crashing together in one massive, uncontrollable wave. Trump's face went from red to purple. He slammed a fist on the desk hard enough to make the water bottles jump. "This is a hit job, set up from the very beginning. You're disgusting, Jimmy, bringing my family into this filth." He pointed at the screen, then back at Jimmy. That was a joke, a compliment. People understood it back then. You're the one making it sick. Jimmy stayed seated, voice steady as ever. "It's your voice, your words, on tape and on video, public record." He paused, then added softer, "But we're not done." The screen went black for a second. Then new text appeared, leaked audio, former aide, 2023, confidential source verified. A woman's voice came on, calm, professional, like she was giving a formal deposition. "I was in the room multiple times when the president made comments about Ivanka that were completely inappropriate. Not just once. He'd say things like, 'She's got the best body,' or 'if she wasn't family,' in front of staff. We were told to laugh it off. Never repeat it. It was a pattern." Trump's eyes went wide. He lunged half a step toward the screen. "Oh, lies! Total fabrication! Who is this? Show her face. She's lying. Paid off. Probably by you." His voice cracked raw. "This is election interference. Deep state. You're all in on it." He was spun toward the audience, arms thrown wide. "You believe this garbage? Come on!" A few loyalists clapped, but it was thin, desperate. The rest of the crowd was roaring, boos, shouts, people standing and pointing. The outrage wasn't split anymore. It was a full wave crashing over the entire stage, and there was nowhere left to hide. Jimmy let the audio fade completely. He looked straight at Trump Vazika. No smirk, no triumph, just pure, steady calm. "That's from someone who worked for you. We have the chain of custody, the date stamps. If it's fake, your team can disprove it tomorrow." Trump paced the stage like a caged animal, shoes clicking hard against the floor. His face was flushed, sweat glistening under the blazing lights. He stopped, spun toward the audience, arms thrown wide. "This is all fake. Every single clip. AI. Deep fakes. You can make anybody say anything now. They've got the technology. It's completely out of control." He jabbed a finger at the frozen screen. "That voice? Not me? That video? Not real. They're using computers to put words in my mouth. It's a disgrace what they're doing to people like me." The Trump supporters jumped on it instantly, cheers erupting from the red hat section. "AI, AI, fake news," fists pumping, people standing to shout agreement. A chant started low. "Lock him up. Lock him up," aimed straight at Jimmy. But the rest of the crowd wasn't buying it as easily anymore. Murmurs turned to outright skepticism. Headshakes, crossed arms, a few loud "come on" calls cutting right through. Trump kept going, voice rising even higher. "Jimmy, you think we're stupid? You think the American people can't see through this? I've been saying it for years. Fake news, fake videos, fake everything. This is the biggest setup in television history." He jabbed a finger straight at the cameras. "You're all part of it. The media, the tech companies, they hate winners. They hate me because I tell the truth." More cheers from his corner, but they sounded thinner now, like they were desperately trying to drown out the growing boos from everywhere else. Jimmy waited until Trump paused just long enough to catch his breath. Then he leaned forward, calm as ever, and spoke clearly into his mic. "Mr. President, I completely understand why you'd say that. AI is genuinely scary. People can fake voices, faces, all of it. But these clips aren't from yesterday. They're from the 90s, from 2006, from 2023, long before the good deep fake tools even existed." He nodded toward the booth again. "We have someone who can explain it far better than I can. Dr. Elena Ramirez, forensic media analyst at Stanford. She's joining us live right now." The screen split. A woman in her 40s appeared in a clean video feed, glasses, a serious expression, sitting in what looked like a home office. "Good evening," she said, voice completely steady and professional. "I've reviewed the materials provided by the show. The radio audio from the 1990s, analog tape, originally digitized later. No signs of AI synthesis. Timestamps match archived broadcasts. The 2006 TV clip, standard definition archival footage from network records, pixel analysis, audio spectrograms, no manipulation detected. And the recent leaked audio, metadata, shows it was recorded on a standard iPhone in 2023, chain of custody verified through encrypted email from the source. No AI watermarking, no splicing artifacts. These are authentic recordings." Trump stared at the screen, jaw absolutely tight. He shook his head hard. "She's biased. Probably paid by you, by the Democrats. You can buy experts. Everybody knows that." But his voice cracked on the last word. The cheers from his side faltered. Fewer people joining in, more looking around. suddenly unsure. Jimmy didn't push. He just let the expert's words sit for a full, heavy second, then added quietly, "Dr. Ramirez, thank you. One more thing." He reached for another sheet from under the desk, different from the memo earlier. "We also have a sworn statement from a former staffer, someone who worked in your inner circle for years. She was in the room for some of those very comments. She says the team was instructed to suppress stories like this, threaten NDAs, kill articles before they ran." He looked up from the page. "Here's her quote, and she said it directly. We were told to laugh it off in private and deny it in public. If anyone pushed, call it fake news or a setup." Trump's pacing stopped dead. He turned slowly, eyes locked on Jimmy for the very first time all night. The fire looked like it was genuinely going out. His shoulders slumped, just a fraction. This is betrayal," he said, voice suddenly lower, almost quiet. "My own people, turning on me." He looked out at the crowd, searching desperately for the support that had been there just minutes ago. Some still clapped, but it was scattered, half-hearted. Most people just watched, silent, stunned, waiting. He took a shaky step back toward his chair, then stopped. His hands actually trembled as he gripped the back of it. "You did this on purpose," he said to Jimmy, quieter now, almost pleading. "You planned every single second to humiliate me, to hurt my family." His eyes glistened. Anger, yes, but something else breaking through underneath. Real, raw, hurt. The man who had walked out waving like a conquering king now looked small under the lights, and everyone in that room could see it. Jimmy met his gaze directly. No gloating, no triumph, just absolute steadiness. "I didn't make the clips, Mr. President. I didn't write the memo. I didn't make your words come out of your own mouth. They were already there, public, recorded, and the people deserve to hear them." The room fell into near total silence, almost reverent. No cheers, no boos, just the crushing weight of everything crashing down at once. Trump stared at the empty space between them for a long, painful beat. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, "You win tonight, but this isn't over." He straightened one last time, tried to pull that old swagger back up, but it simply didn't land anymore. He turned, walked toward the wings, slower than before, head down, and disappeared behind the curtain. But the night wasn't finished yet, not by a long shot. Trump stood there for a long second after Jimmy's final words, a chest rising and falling fast, eyes darting from the empty screen to the audience, to Jimmy, and then he absolutely snapped. "I'm not going to sit here and take this," he roared, voice rough and loud all over again. "These lies, fake clips, fake witnesses, fake everything. I won't tolerate it. Not from you, not from anybody." He jabbed a finger at Jimmy one last time. "You think you got me? You got nothing? This is rigged. It's a witch hunt, and the American people see right through it." His rant picked up speed, words tumbling out faster and faster. "You're done, Jimmy. You're finished. Mark my words." He spun on his heel mid-sentence, didn't even wait for applause or boos, just stormed toward the wings. Each step was heavy, purposeful, shoes pounding against the stage floor. The door at the side of the stage banged open, then slammed shut behind him with a sharp crack that echoed clean through every microphone in the room. The chair across from Jimmy sat completely empty, spotlight still hitting it like a crime scene. For one breathless heartbeat, the entire room was stunned into pure, ringing stillness. Then pandemonium broke loose. The audience erupted, half on their feet cheering wildly, the other half booing just as loud. People shouted over each other, "Come back! Good riddance, that was insane. Phones flashed everywhere, capturing every chaotic second. A few Trump loyalists waved signs high, chanting his name like it was a full-blown rally. Others sat there shaking their heads, mouths wide open in absolute disbelief. The band didn't know what to do. No cue for music, no script for this. The energy was raw, electric, and completely out of control. Jimmy stayed seated for another beat, just letting the noise wash over him completely. Then he stood slowly, adjusted his jacket, and walked calmly to the front of the stage. He raised one hand, not to quiet them, just to signal he was about to speak. The crowd hushed just enough for his voice to cut through. "Well," he said, completely deadpan, "I guess when the evidence gets too real, the new go-to line is AI did it." A ripple of laughter started low, then built fast, relieved, almost grateful. Next time someone gets caught, they'll probably blame the moon landing footage, too. More laughs, stronger, cutting through the tension like a knife. Some people clapped hard, others wiped actual tears from laughing so hard. Jimmy let it settle, then got quieter, more serious. "Look, tonight got heavy, real heavy. But that's what happens when words come back around. They don't just disappear because you walk away." He glanced back at the empty chair. That seat is still there. The questions are still there. And so are the tapes. The room went quiet, respectfully, thoughtfully quiet. A few people nodded. The mixed cheers and boos faded into a low, meaningful hum. Just as Jimmy turned back toward his desk, the side door cracked open again. Trump stepped halfway out, face red, eyes blazing. He didn't come all the way in, just leaned through far enough for every camera to catch him clearly. "One more thing," he shouted. "This isn't over. You think you humiliated me? You humiliated yourself. The truth's coming out. My truth. You'll see." The crowd reacted instantly. Gasps, shouts, phones swinging wildly back toward him. Jimmy didn't miss a single beat. He turned, calm as ever, and held up one last sheet of paper. "Before you go for good, Mr. President, here's something fresh." He held it up clearly. A public petition signed by 12 former staffers and witnesses from that radio show and others. They're putting their actual names on it. No NDAs, no hiding. They're saying the comments happened, the pattern was real, and they're done staying quiet. He paused. "It's already online. People can read it right now." Trump's mouth opened, then closed. No quick comeback this time. He stared at that piece of paper like it physically burned him, then shook his head once. Slow, defeated. Without another single word, he stepped back. The door closed again. This time, it stayed shut. The room exploded one final time. Cheers, boos, stunned silence, all crashing together in one massive, overwhelming wave. Jimmy walked back to center stage, voice completely steady. "That's it for tonight. Thank you for being here through all of that." He looked back at the empty chair one last time. Sometimes accountability looks exactly like this. An empty seat and a whole lot of questions that won't go away. He gave a small, tired smile. "Good night." The audience rose as one, a standing ovation, loud and long, not just for the jokes, not just for the drama, but for the way he'd held that line without ever once breaking. The lights began to dim. Music finally swelled in, soft and low. But the image everyone carried out with them was that empty chair, still sitting under the lone spotlight. Simple, silent, screaming louder than any rant ever could. Backstage, after every camera cut, Jimmy sat in his dressing room quietly scrolling his phone. Clips were already blowing up, millions of views in minutes. Then a text popped up from a producer. "New leak just dropped from Ivanka's team. Internal email says she's distancing herself from the comments. Won't defend them publicly, wants absolutely no part of the fallout. Jimmy stared at the screen for a long second. Then he set the phone down slowly. A final twist that nobody had seen coming, not even him. A family rift, right there in black and white. He didn't smile, didn't celebrate, just exhaled. Slow. Outside, the internet was already on fire. Hashtags trending worldwide. Hashtag Kimmel Trump. Hashtag empty chair. And a hashtag words matter. People posted reactions, shock, anger, memes, think pieces. Late-night hosts were already teasing segments. Pundits were arguing on every single channel. And somewhere in the mix, a quiet promise started circulating. More documents coming, more witnesses stepping forward. Investigations promised by journalists, by watchdogs, by everyone who smelled blood in the water. It didn't end with the closing credits. It was only just starting. Words once spoken casually now had claws. They reached back through time, grabbed hold, and absolutely refused to let go. As the lights went dark on that stage, one thing was painfully, undeniably clear. Nobody walked away untouched. Not Trump, not Jimmy, not the country watching from their screens in stunned, breathless silence. The haunting had only just begun.